The not-so-young giant, a bodybuilder, gazes heavily at his reflection in the restaurant restroom. He's on a date with a girl, but the evening isn't going well. Dennis Peterson, a professional athlete but not making enough money, has to work as a security guard to make ends meet. The girl is unimpressed, and Dennis behaves too indecisively, hardly saying a word. To break the ice, his companion teases him, saying he's staring at her chest. Dennis becomes embarrassed, denies it, and stammers that he just liked her necklace. The date ends uneventfully, and the man returns home, where he still lives with his mother. He lies, saying he went to the movies with a friend, and that's why he didn't answer calls. His mother doesn't believe him and continues to question him. She looks at her son sternly, but then suddenly changes her expression and says she was just worried about his well-being. Dennis hugs his mom and says he's already home with her, and there's nothing to fear. He goes to his room where he reflects on life and his hopeless situation. The shiny trophies and medals he earned for his impeccable muscles do not alleviate his loneliness, but only serve as a reminder of his fading youth. In 2 years, he will be turning 40. In his mother's house, Dennis isn't even allowed to lock the door when using the shower, and they share the bathroom in the morning. His mother gets dressed, and they are preparing to visit relatives. Dennis, as always, obediently follows his anxious mother's whims. They get into the car and head to visit their not-so-young uncle, Ben. Ben recently married a girl from Thailand who clearly doesn't match him in age and appearance. Dennis celebrates with everyone, but deep down, he is envious of his uncle. His mother is skeptical about the marriage and criticizes her brother's choice. The next day at the gym, Dennis approaches a familiar blonde girl he had been on a date with, but the girl walks past him and doesn't even greet him. In the evening, he goes to his uncle's house again and helps him clear the garden of brushwood. In return, the nephew asks Ben to help him find happiness in Thailand as well. Dennis attentively studies brochures and hotel websites. After making a decision, he finds the blonde girl at the gym and tells her bluntly that he's not interested in her and won't go on another date with her. At dinner, Dennis lies to his mother again, telling her that he'll soon be leaving for a week to Germany for a bodybuilding competition. She, as usual, manipulates his emotions and claims that he informed her too late and he has responsibilities at home. With a stern look, she pushes her food away and retreats to her room. She refuses to speak to her son for several days, right up to the day of his departure. Dennis doesn't reconcile with his mother until she hides under the blanket like a child. He boards the plane and lands in Pattaya, full of hope. When he checks into the hotel, the girl at the front desk immediately suggests that he pay extra for a girl in his room, but the naive Denny doesn't even understand what is being implied and says that he came alone. He goes to meet a person named Scott, who was recommended by his uncle. Scott owns a bar with his Thai wife. He asks Dennis what kind of girls he likes, but Dennis doesn't know how to respond and just says that he doesn't need a companion who's too young. Scott promises to arrange everything and bids the bodybuilder farewell. On the way back to the hotel, the taxi driver persuades the timid passenger to make a detour to a store. Making a sudden turn, the driver takes Denny to a store where he buys himself an expensive blue blazer, 3 times the price. In the hotel, he tries to call his mother, but she doesn't pick up. After sunset, the man changes into his new outfit, wears a smile on his face, and heads to Scott's bar. There, he meets other not-so-young white men with Thai companions, and even Scott's son, who benefits from his father's business. Soon, a girl named Fett approaches Denise and immediately starts praising his muscles, clearly showing her interest. Denise is intimidated by the situation, and he feels very uncomfortable. The girl even follows him into the restroom, where, just like his mother, she doesn't give him any privacy. They leave the bar together and go to Dennis's hotel room, where Fett directly informs him about the cost of spending the night with her. Dennis initially agrees, but then starts to have doubts. He tells her that he's feeling unwell and asks Fett to leave. He still pays her, and when he's alone again, he tries, unsuccessfully, to call his mother. Dennis is sad and doesn't know what to do next. He expected something entirely different from his uncle's advice. The next day, he goes for a walk and finds a local gym. There, he is greeted by the friendly manager, Taya, and a local bodybuilder, Prap, who recognizes Dennis. Photos of the competition winner are printed in a magazine as an example to follow. They train together, and for the first time, Dennis feels comfortable in a foreign country. Prap invites Dennis to have dinner with his friends in the evening, but Dennis politely declines. Instead, he tries once again to find a companion at Scott's bar. Another young beauty behaves just like the first one, asking to show his muscles and getting too close. Meanwhile, Scott announces that an artist is about to perform a show and the concert begins. Confused, Dennis, held in the arms of Taya with bewilderment and disgust, surveys the bar. It's evident that this is not his scene, and he'll never find happiness here. The man finds an excuse to leave and walks the streets of Thailand, avoiding the advances of women of loose morals. He calls Prap and locates the place where he's having dinner with fellow bodybuilders. Among them is Taya. She compliments Dennis on his blazer and strikes up a conversation with him. Dennis thinks that Taya must also be into bodybuilding, but she surprises him with a negative answer. It turns out that the gym belonged to her husband, who passed away 5 years ago, and she continued his legacy. Taya is surprised that Dennis has never had serious relationships. When everyone goes home, the girl suggests that they take mopeds another day and explore the city. They visit the local market and then head to a temple and the beach. There, Dennis tries to kiss Taya, but she doesn't expect it and pulls away. Dennis is so embarrassed and disappointed that he tries to escape. However, his plans are disrupted by the moped, which refuses to start. Nevertheless, Taya assures him that everything is fine, and they abandon the broken bike to ride home together. Dennis says goodbye and heads back to the hotel, but Taya stops him. She suggests that they continue their conversation, and Dennis agrees. She invites him to her place for dinner, where Dennis finally kisses the girl. While he goes to the restroom, Taya changes into lingerie and then tries to embrace Dennis, but he once again can't handle his excitement and flees. But when he steps outside, he stops. He realizes that he genuinely likes Taya, and she didn't do this for money like other girls. He returns, and they confess their mutual attraction. They limit their interaction to hugging and spending the night together. Dennis returns to Denmark, where he joyfully reunites with his mother. He lies about taking the 6th place in the competition and getting a tan from a sunbed. He quietly hangs his blue blazer in the closet and later goes to find himself temporary accommodation. In the evening, with great anxiety, Dennis knocks on his mother's door. He confesses that he went to Thailand to find a girl just like Bent, and he succeeded. Now he's in a relationship. Her son apologizes for lying, but his mother, in a rage, kicks him out of the room. The next morning, she takes the situation into her hands, using her full arsenal of pressure and manipulation. She questions her son if he slept with her, but Dennis still has the courage to deny her such details. She demands he cease all contact with the new girl or she will never forgive Dennis for lying and being rude. Her son realizes it's futile to argue with her at this moment and agrees to her demands. However, it's just a ruse. Soon he meets his beloved at the airport with flowers. Dennis takes her to the rented apartment and gives her a pendant. He has already told the girl that he lives with his mother in a private house, so she's surprised that he placed her in an apartment. Dennis lies again, saying that his mother isn't feeling well, and he has to take care of her, so they can't meet each other just yet. The next day, the couple goes to the shopping center, where Dennis spots his mother approaching them. He tries to hide and pushes the girl into the lingerie section, but it's not easy for such a giant to hide, and his mother notices him. She's glad to see her son and asks why he's not at training. Taya approaches them, and the man lies in Danish, saying that she's his uncle's wife's sister who came from Thailand for a visit and is staying with them. However, this doesn't explain why Dennis is choosing women's underwear along with her. Besides, the girl asks his mother about her health in English. The woman is puzzled and doesn't understand what's going on. When the mother begins to suspect everything, Dennis takes the girl and simply runs away with her. Taya feels very awkward about this situation, but Dennis just sighs heavily and takes her to the apartment, while he hurries home to his mother. There he finds that his mother has injured her hands severely. While her son was absent, she burst into his room and caused a real mess. Dennis sadly looks at the broken trophies, computer, and photo frames. Another difficult conversation starts with his mother trying to find out how long Taya has been in Denmark and when she'll leave. But Dennis no longer falls for her intimidating tone and responds that it's none of her business. Dennis's father abandoned Ingrid before he was born, and the son has never seen his father. Perhaps such a legend is just another manipulation by his mother to elicit sympathy. In any case, Dennis informs her that he's moving out to live with Taya in Denmark. His mother tries to shame him again. All that's left in her arsenal are tears, and they are immediately put to use. Dennis, on the other hand, helps his mother dress her wounds and starts packing his things. Before leaving, he hugs his mother tightly and leaves, despite her last plea not to abandon her. Dennis gets into the car, where Taya is already waiting for him. Together they drive off to build their future.